What's going on, guys? Welcome back to What Cheers. I'm Nick. Tonight I'm lucky enough to get to do another epic review. I am very excited about this one yet again. As you can already tell, this is yet another Alchemist release. About a month ago they had their first ever pop-up / truck release where they basically just had two new releases, the first two beers ever to be canned besides Heady Topper. They canned them and they went out to a location outdoors, and they brought the truck, unloaded the truck, set up a tent, and just sold all the beer right out of the truck essentially. And they're just calling it a pop-up sale, truck sale, whatever. So the second truck sale was this one right here, which is called the Crusher. And this is the first double IPA that they've ever canned besides Heady Topper. So it may have been a better idea for me to actually do this beer side by side with Heady Topper, since they're actually both double IPAs. However, I didn't know that this was coming out. I had no idea, so I don't have any Heady, so it's got to go on its own today. Now this one, again, like Heady, they don't tell you what the hops are. They don't tell you what the malts are. You're very secretive again about that. Whereas with the Focal Banger, they told you it was Citra and Mosaic. So this is the Crusher Double IPA, and it comes in at 9.6% as opposed to 8% of Heady Toppers. So that's a big difference in itself. This is a bigger beer. You're getting up there near 10% for a double IPA. That's pretty big. I'm very excited to see how this one stacks up to what I know Heady Topper to be. So the Crusher was, like I said, it was a double IPA that John used to brew at the old pub. This was back in 2009 was when he had this brewed, and it was flowing out of the brew pub at that time. And it is March 2014. So I mean, this guy must be dying to release these beers. Basically taking the shackles off of them again and getting them out into the public. All of his awesome old recipes. This guy obviously is an incredible craftsman and brewer, making these beers. So really thrilled to, very fortunate and thrilled to get a can of this to review. And I've only got the one. So right now this can is only a week and 2 days old at this point. So it's super fresh. So guys, with all that said, let's get into the Crusher. Alright guys, there's the Crusher. As you would expect from any Alchemist beer, it looks pretty gosh darn awesome. It's, that classic kind of deep, dark, golden, very hazy, you can't see anything through it. It's just really that thick kind of hazy look to it for a double IPA. Very nice stuff. I was always swirling it around, and the lacing on it is incredible. Just totally sticking to the glass. Off-white head, big bubbles surrounding the top. Just awesome looking double IPA. I can already smell it from here. It smells ridiculous. Let's get an aroma on the Crusher. Oh yes. So good, so good. So big, so dank, resinous, very piney, very like sap, just sticky, resinous, piney character to it. The hops are so intense, it's almost like a sting. I mean, I can definitely get similarities to Heady Topper, no doubt about it. I mean, you're getting that huge kind of mixture of sticky, pine sap kind of characters with like an orange and a honey kind of smell to it. I get more of like really high alpha acid hops, just really like pungent in your face, very like almost like acidic hop character to it, just really intense stuff. But I do get that orange, that orange peel, that citrus rind character to it. I get a lot of that. I get sweetness, I get lemon, I get that, that orange, that grapefruit, that pineapple, all that good stuff. But you definitely get a very heavy dose of pine sap and just, fresh cut trees and all that. It's very, very intense, mouth-watering, and it smells like an Alchemist beer. I know I said this before, but if you've smelled Heady Topper, you know that if you did this blind, you could tell this is an Alchemist beer. I don't know if it's the yeast, the malts, whatever they're using. It just has that characteristic to it that's unmistakable. Just smells out of this world. Ridiculous. Just awesome, as you would expect from a fucking Alchemist double IPA. I mean, come on. What did you expect, right? Alright guys, that's it. I can't wait any longer. I'm getting a sip. Cheers. Oh, wow. Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. Wow. That's fucking unreal. I love that this beer, right off the bat, this beer is wicked sweet. I mean, it's sweet, but man, it is loaded to the brim with hops. Like, it's just an absolute delicious treat. It's very sweet, sweeter than Heady Topper. I love this. This is as good as Heady Topper right out of the gate for me. This beer is really sweet. I love it. I mean, I like sweeter beers to begin with, but when you can find a really, really good, really intensely hopped, sweet double IPA, I'm in love. This is exactly what I love about it. All the way through the sip too. Initially up front, you get that honey sweetness, more so than I even detected in the smell. I detected, the pine, the resin, all that stuff, but the sweetness didn't hit me as much. Probably because it's higher alcohol. It's 9.6%, but the sweetness in it is insane. It's like someone just put honey in it. The entire sip is just this delicious, combination of all those bright, citrusy, citrus skin kind of flavors to it, citrus rind, and then that pine, that sap, that fresh cut kind of tree thing is in there, and it's exactly what you'd expect from the Alchemist. I think it tastes very similar to Heady Topper. I think there's definitely differences. I can't exactly point them out now because I don't have it sitting next to it, but from what I can recall, and I've had Heady Topper a lot, I find that Heady Topper is a lot more dank. It's a lot more in your face. Even though this is supposedly, it's a bigger beer, I think Heady Topper actually is less drinkable than this. This is very sweet. It's got a ton of hops. It finishes very, very dry. It's got a great mouthfeel to it. It's not overly, thick or anything like that. It's got a little bit of a creamy, smooth mouthfeel to it. I think carbonation's pretty low. Yeah, this thing is incredible. If you like sweeter double IPAs that are really just so fresh and so pungent, very, very heavy on the citrus rind, fresh squeezed juice kind of flavors, this is the one for you. And then it has a heavy dose of like pine needles, pine sap, resin, hop resin, and then it finishes nice and dry. It's not overly bitter at all. I mean, it has a nice bitter bite to it, but it doesn't leave you dying from the bitterness or anything like that. And I don't even think it's overly dry either. I think it's just dry enough. You actually feel like you're kind of left with a coating in your mouth of just all the hop oils and the sweetness, almost like a honey sticky sweetness. The carbonation on this is actually quite low. It makes it very, very smooth drinking. It just kind of glides across your palate. It's just very velvety smooth, almost double IPA, and it is different than Heady Topper. This is a little bit sweeter. I think it's a little bit more focused on the pine and resin character, but it definitely has all those elements that you love about Heady Topper in it, and there's no question in my mind this will be, one of the most sought after beers if he ever gets it up to production level where people can get their hands on it. This is definitely going to be, obviously it's sold out, I'm sure, in like an hour at the market, if that. They obviously didn't have enough of this to sell to many people, but I think in the future, when they open up their new facility and they are able to can more of the recipes, that it'll be a more frequent thing, and these kind of beers will get into the hands of a lot more people over time. Alright, so now guys, I'm going to take a sip out of the can real quick just to see if I get anything different. I think in the past when I've tried Heady Topper both ways, I felt like I did get a difference. Maybe that was just, power of suggestion from the can, but I always felt like I did get a little bit of a difference when I poured it as opposed to drinking it straight from the can. So now that I know what it tastes like and I love it, I'm going to taste it out of the can for the first time and see what I think. Yeah, I do get a little bit of difference, but I think mainly that's because of carbonation. Yeah, definitely just it tastes pretty much exactly the same. Actually got less of a sweetness. It's still sweet, but as opposed to in the glass when it's been, the carbonation's pretty much lost at this point in the glass. Fresh out of the can, it definitely is more of a medium carbonation level. I got more of a Heady Topper taste out of the can than I did when I poured it in the glass, swirled around, let it open up. Ultimately, they pretty much taste the same. I think there's definitely, the carbonations being held in the can a lot better than when you swirl it around the glass. Obviously, it's pretty much gone at that point. But I do get more sweetness out of the glass than I tasted out of the can. Definitely more carbonation. It definitely tastes very, very similar to Heady Topper out of the can. What can I say? I'm super lucky to get to try this. I'm very appreciative. I got, obviously worked hard to set up a trade to get this. But so I guess the big question would be, is this beer as good as Heady Topper? Is it better than Heady Topper? Is it not as good as Heady Topper? In my opinion, I would probably actually drink this over Heady Topper just on the sweetness level alone. I mean, never mind the alcohol, which by the way I didn't even mention. You cannot smell or taste the 9.6% alcohol whatsoever. It is undetectable, completely, 100%. And that alone, to me, is just incredible about, beers like Heady Topper and stuff like this. That just shows you the level of craftsmanship that these guys are at, to be able to do that. There's just so much, brewing knowledge that goes into making a beer this epic. I think it's a little bit better than Heady Topper. I think it's easier to drink, which is crazy because it's even higher alcohol. Not that means everything, but I think it's an easier drinking beer because it's sweeter. Anyways, guys, wrap up this review now. The bottom line is, guys, it's every bit as good as what you'd expect an Alchemist double IPA to be, and it does not stray far from what you'd expect from tasting Heady Topper. So scores on this, guys, that's a 98 overall on Beer Advocate. I don't know if that score is just from this recent release or if that's all the scores combined from when it used to be at the pub. Either way, it's already 98. I'm going 100. Absolutely, there's no way I'm not going 100 on this. This is ridiculous. It's insanely good. It's not just the hype. And I think people need to understand that. These beers are not just, reviewed by me because of the hype. They're reviewed by me because they're literally some of the best beers being made in the world today. And if you don't believe that, well, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. So you need to get this. You need to get up to the Alchemist. Get anything you can from Hill Farmstead, the Alchemist, Lawson's, Treehouse Brewing Company, Trillium Brewing Company, Jack's Abbey Brewing Company. This Northeast corridor is absolutely killing it in the craft beer scene. And I hope you guys get to try this sometime. And with all that being said, thanks for watching. Really excited about this beer, and it's just perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. It's 100, and you know, I wish it was more available. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of this can of the Crusher, and I'm gonna savor every last drop. So cheers. Thanks for watching. Remember to comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next beer review. Thanks. Cheers.